Greetings, Tom Earl here. Welcome to the Intermission, hosted by The Celebration. I know you could be anywhere. But look at you, you're here. So thank you for that. This is your friendly reminder. This is you listening to you as I say this. You are amazing. You are glorious. You are loved. You are appreciated. You are valued just as you are. Now, I have been saying that for quite a while. First thing I added to this intro was your greatest gifts, your time and energy. Then I added on the you are valued, loved, and appreciated after seeing the Mr. Rogers documentary. Not the one with Tom Hanks. And I'm kicking myself for not knowing her name. Let's pause. All right, guess what, y'all? I roped in Adaora. You want to say hello?
Hi.
That was a very podcast voice. So I went out. I looked up because I was talking about my intro and how I added on to the intro after you and I saw what's his name? Oh my gosh, Won't You Be My Neighbor?
Oh, Tom Hanks?
No. The person
Mr.
that's
Rogers?
Mr. Rogers. I kept saying Will Rogers in my head. I was like, it's not Will Rogers, it's Mr. Rogers. Okay. So I was telling him how after I saw the Mr. Rogers documentary, I didn't mention it was you, but you were there. We saw the Mr. Rogers documentary. And I was saying not the one with Tom Hanks. And then I was like, oh, what's the person's name from This Is Us? Because those are the two people in it. And so then I Googled it and I was like, Susan Kalechi watch it. Oh, that sounds like an Igbo name. Let me go ask Adaora. So then I went out and asked you, and then you gave an explanation. And I was like, why don't you just come explain to the good people? So go ahead.
My answer was, I'm not quite sure. Kelechi is definitely an Igbo name. It means we are thanking God, and it's kind of an alternative on Kenechukwu, which is something that you love to say. Kenechi or Kelechi or Kenechukwu or Kenechi.
Ah.
Yeah. So it's exactly the same words, just pronounced slightly differently or in different dialect. And that is her name. And I think I read it's either that she has an Igbo parent or her parents just really liked the name Kelechi.
I'm trying to get Adaora to talk as close to the mic as I possibly can get her.
Close to the mic. So yeah, I'm sure they got all of that, even with my distance from the mic.
And y'all can't see, but so I'm in my office / guest room.
Can't say that for tax purposes.
It's never a guest room.
Never.
The guest is my muse. Office and guest room for my muse, which
doesn't have a bed in it, that's for sure. Guests sleep on improvised surfaces. And
by guest we mean okay, we're good. If the IRS is listening right now, they're a fan, and we're all good. This is deep cuts. This is deep cuts, Tom Earl. So, anyways, I have blue Christmas lights that Adaora put up, and I never took down. And you look amazing. Yes, the blue light on you, it looks amazing.
And might I add, it doesn't have to be blue. There are all sorts of color options he has, and blue happens to be my favorite.
There you go. Anything you want to add? This is the intermission in between Remy and Miata's episode. There's always 2 episodes of intermission. This is the first intermission, and then the next week will be another intermission, and then they'll get to meet Miata.
Oh yeah, Remy, they are so interesting and the adventures they've had. So that must have been a treat. And then Miata, you know how I feel about Miata, and I'm so happy that I was able to lure you into Miata's world, and now you and her are just vibing. So amazing.
Yep, those are the original days of Tom and Adaora, the inception days, 2015. Remember that was probably that'd have been 16 because that's when we first moved in together in Koreatown. So that would have been February 2016. So I remember driving from our Koreatown place to the Actors Fund. I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, same thing, same story. I still remember the session at the Actors Fund when I told Miata's class about you and about meeting you and about bringing you into the world of financial awareness beyond where you already were, and how I was encouraging you to practice Miata's ways. And then soon after that, you came in, and I remember my last official session at Miata's class was telling them about how, my belly wasn't just from burgers. It was from us, this young man I told them about so many years ago, having gotten married, made a plan, being in a position to buy a house, now having a baby, and all the things that came about from the class and Miata, and just being able to plan like that and be in a mental space to meet someone and start a life from all this kind of organizing and getting my stuff together. That was a great session.
Yeah. Which one?
The first one where I told them about you, and my last official session with them when I was telling them about our plans together.
What do you mean? So by last, you mean the most recent, not the final?
The most recent, as in the end of 2019, or was it the start of 2020? I think.
Okay, that's what confused me.
Yeah.
We didn't have a house then.
No, I was telling them about us. We were at that time we were hoping to buy a triplex. I was telling them about that. We ended up with a duplex, which was close, but yeah, about how Miata's kind of mindset and way of thinking about money put us very much on the path to that.
I don't think I've ever anywhere on the internet until this very moment ever admitted that I own a house.
Should we not say?
No, cat's out of the bag.
I think we gave it up. Well, no, actually, with rental property, you can have an offer.
Okay, that's true. So. I listed it on. That is very true. That is very true. I did list it for rent. Not so secret, but I guess in the
we could
world of Tom Earl.
Yeah, we could be subletting. It's true.
Yeah, we never posted. We moved in. We took the picture. We never posted it. Yeah, that was the start of my don't like sharing anything about my life on the internet phase. Is the start of it. Other than my deeply personal thoughts and long form podcasts, of course.
Other than that, yes.
But that's really it. Otherwise. And then lately I've been like, I'm hosting a journaling workshop. Do you want to come? Those are the other posts that I do.
Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I tell them my film's showing in 2 weeks and they should all come if they want to, but really.
Okay, so that's
going to be pretty low key.
Episode's going to come out this Sunday.
Okay, so yeah, I guess it'll come out a week before the movie opens at the LA Women's Film Festival on Saturday, the 13th or something, whatever that is.
13th of August?
Yes.
Do you want to talk about the film?
It's called Awoken. Tom Earl is one of the producers of the film.
I knew I was something. I didn't know what.
And a first AD as well.
And I wasn't lead, but I was assistant to the lead of the catering operations.
Yes, he was. He was excellent. And he was a part-time gaffer. Did a whole bunch of things on that film.
And I was the cover-upper of the smoke alarms.
Yeah, that makes you electrician adjacent, I guess.
You got to tell the story about the smoke alarms.
Well, talk about getting actors to method act. The smoke alarms decided, this is a building we've lived in 4 years. This was the first and only time that they decided they must test all the smoke alarms in every single apartment. I think it's 70-something apartments. Every single one. And so this was the day we were filming in the building. And so I would say intermission of 4 minutes each, a smoke alarm would go off in the entire building. And these actors had to act in between, and they were doing a very emotional part. Luckily, it was the film is called Awoken. It's where sleep training meets social justice. And so this was the scene where child was just crying and crying and crying, and they couldn't go in because, sleep training, you have to endure. And so that your child can learn the resilience and that they are going to be okay, and they don't need to freak out that they're alone and they're crying, and you don't need to freak out that they're alone and they're crying. And so the tension's high, and they're trying to work through this scene where, as parents of this 6-month-old, they're just at stress points. And these smoke alarms just keep going off every 4 minutes in the middle of the scenes. So even the most even-tempered and sweet actors that I have, it was getting to them. And it came out in the scene. And I have to say, it worked really well in the scene. But as people, as someone who likes to be compassionate to their actors, I wouldn't...
Especially the sound person.
Especially the sound person. Yes. Oh my goodness, the poor sound person. Yeah, I wouldn't have chosen this as a way to bring those performances out of them. But if it had to happen, I guess this was the one thing that would have fed into a performance. But yeah, it was stressful as hell.
Who else is in the film?
Oh, our little one, our tiny baby, who was about 6 months at the time. So I was so worried about her poor ears with this shrill thing going off at top volume all the time. So I had my mum take her out of the building for a few hours just so that she wouldn't have to endure all of this. But we had to. We stayed there.
Oh. Any other? Why don't you shout out everybody? Or everybody The
film stars Tress Glenn, super talented. And
I saw Tress in the Uber Showtime Uber. Yeah.
She was playing a journalist in that.
Yeah.
And she's been in a few things. I think Good Trouble, playing a nurse, and a handful of other things. And we stand strong with the SAG-AFTRA and the WGA as they strike for rights that are truly and rightly theirs.
You tell them.
And Vivi Devereaux as well. We are those are our two leads alongside
the future James Bond.
Yes, indeed.
Google Vivi and James Bond. You'll see there's like a whole thing going of people being like, he should be James Bond. So you should check it out.
Yeah, Vivi's very cool. Yes. As is Tress. So they were awesome people to work with. And my editor, Leah Rabloba, she is awesome as well. She did a really good job with the editing. And, our DP was great. Sound people. Just a rocking crew and cast. And MVPs, Tom Earl and my mum, who was head of catering.
Miliaco.
Head of catering, head of baby managing. She did so many things. She's always so great to have around when I'm filming.
That's awesome. That was a wild ride. Yeah, that was pandemic, y'all. That was September 2021.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So y'all can't hear it, and I don't think...
No, 2020.
Oh, wow. You're right. Yeah, because we were here then. Wow. 2020.
Yep.
Huh.
Deep in.
Yeah, we all had a COVID test and do all that kind of stuff. Y'all can't hear it, and even if you were here, I doubt you could, but I have hung up 2 of my guitars on the wall, and one of them is an acoustic guitar. It's a pretty good one. And so Adora's voice is somehow echoing within the hollow body of it. And so it's giving it this like musical quality while you talk. It's been wild.
Amazing.
I know. It's like super subtle, but I can hear your voice echoing off of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Your ears, the things they can catch and the things that they don't. It's fascinating.
They're specific.
Very.
Well, anything else you want to talk about?
Nope. I'm going to go help my dad now.
Okay. All right. Why don't you, we always have people share an invitation with folks. What do you invite folks to do?
I invite you, wherever you are, to whatever kind of atmosphere, climate, weather you're going through right now, to just find the joy in it. We've been going through sweltering heat that's just kind of become slightly overcast. And some have been saying, oh, it's so muggy, etc. And climate change is so real. And we can also continue to relish and appreciate each kind of nuance that comes with the change of the weather and a helpfulness of the awareness of where we are now and where we were before and where we're going to. And the way the weather changes is such a clear reminder of how everything in life just changes. Even if we think we're in the middle of a heat wave and it's suddenly you're looking for a jacket.
I don't know what the weather will be. Whether we'll see tomorrow. But if today is all I have to live, I'd give it to you. No, but tomorrow.
Give it to you.
Well, let me do my invitation right off yours. Is Lovey Evo?
No, she's Yoruba.
Okay, but she's Nigerian.
Mm-hmm.
So look at the stuff Lovey was posting when Elon Musk did the takeover of Twitter, and she was talking about not to think that these capitalist billionaires are geniuses simply because they are exploitatively rich. So on the piggybacking off of Adora's nature invitation, I invite you to whatever pedestal you have any of these people on, Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, insert the blank here, these people who are famous because they're rich. Take them off that pedestal. They are not geniuses. They are, like my hearing, specific. Specific, and they will not save us. They will not save us. That scene in that Apple movie where they were at the UN negotiating if the goal should be raised by a degree, and Jon Snow was like convinced them to let it go up because he was going to give them water. You know what I'm talking about?
I do. Extrapolation.
Yes, I was like, it's so true. We think these people are like, there's such this belief that some sort of capitalist innovation is going to save us from climate change, right? That the need will be so great that somebody will invent something and they'll be able to make a bunch of money off of that. And because of that, that'll save us. And the solution is not going to come from some sort of capitalist innovation. The solution will be free, first of all. Won't be something people can make money off of. So
it'll need to be free, right? Even though extrapolations leaves that kind of murky in the way it explains what might end up happening. But yeah, there's a whole lot of suffering leading towards it. So.
I just say it has to be free because, especially helping people sell stuff for so long, so much of like we were like, you can make anything of yourself, like this kind of stuff is like just creating dumb shit for people to buy, right? I just watched the Beanie Baby movie, for example. Like, yay, but really waste, right? So ultimately, whatever the solution is can't have some sort of incentive to have like planned obsolescence or like I buy it once and I never need it again. That's like a capitalist worst nightmare. So there's no way that the solution can be that like it can only sustain itself if people keep buying it. Anything that has some sort of like only works as long as people keep buying is a part of the problem.
Which is why the capitalists will not free us or save us. There
we go. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So don't forget to buy my stuff, TomEarl.com, and my stuff's digital, so it doesn't hurt anybody. This is one of the lines in my poems went. Rationalization helps me sleep at night too. I buy the cheap bananas over fair trade, knowing full well Chiquita executes his business plan by executing any South American brave enough to take a stand. That's all y'all are going to get. You're going to have to try and find the rest of that poem out there. And this was when I was eating 40 bananas a day. So that's why that poem really hits home.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I would do that every time. I'd be like, I can't afford the fair trade ones. So I'm going to buy this. If the history of Central and South America and of the United States using the CIA to overthrow democratically elected governments and instill puppet dictators. chilling.
It is chilling, and this is why the IRS listens to your podcast.
Oh man, one of an upcoming guest, we're gonna see if we can pull it off. Goes by the name of Estuardo. I have verbal confirmation that he's gonna be on the podcast. I'll find out.
He said today when I saw him, he's like, I'm supposed to be on the podcast. I was like, yeah.
So he had a shirt, and this is how I knew he was meant for the podcast. That's it. COINTELPRO killed my heroes. And so I was like, and I said to him, COINTELPRO is alive. So those would be the people listening to this, the COINTELPRO team, which is so wild. All of these white Republicans that are like weaponizing the FBI. It's like, are you kidding me? The people who love J. Edgar Hoover, like you all love J. Edgar Hoover. You might not think you do, but you do. And you're going to, oh my God, the FBI is not being weaponized against Trump. Okay, first of all. Look up COINTELPRO if you want to learn about the weaponization of the FBI. It certainly isn't going to go after white Republicans. I'll tell you that right there. All right. Well, I think that should about do it for this relaxing intermission. You can't escape it. You can't escape it. In the end, you got to know what you're signing up for if you're listening. So I appreciate you. Anything else you want to add?
No, I just love that they've had Remy and they're going to have Miata as well.
Yeah. Remy did a really good job of bringing up things where I would just kind of go on a rant like this. So this is kind of perfect to be in the intermission. All right, y'all. This was perfect. I had no idea Adaora was going to join me. I had no intention. I was like, let me go into the room and record the podcast when I should be in bed. And this is like awesome. We got you on here. You haven't been on the podcast since the episode that we recorded the day before Gemma was born.
Yes.
That's the last time you're on the podcast.
Our child. That is very
the day before. The day Nenma arrived. The day after we got out of the bed and breakfast.
Oh, that day we got.
Yeah, the day Wild. If y'all could see us, we're both looking into the sky at memory lane. Little did we know. Little did we know.
We knew our life was about to change.
Wow.
Maybe 2 days later, but we didn't know that the world was going to change 3 weeks later. So, hey.
That Tom Earl back then, I'm glad he didn't know. I'm glad he don't know what I know now. Oh, so what is it? Wet behind the ears, dewy-eyed. Feels like a lifetime ago. It's only not even a high school diploma ago.
Nope.
All right, y'all. This is my senior year, I guess. And I appreciate you. We'll see you in the next intermission. I can guarantee you that it will not be as good as this episode. This is probably like the best one of the year right here in terms of the intermissions. All right. Appreciate you. Love you. As always, wishing you peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings.
Let's not let go. One more thing. I'd love to continue the conversation. Feel free to join me at tomearl.com/join. Subscribe below, or let's connect on social media. Tom Earl Artist. Thanks again for watching.